Hello, YouTubers. I'm Angela Logan, and this is Everyday Shenanigans. I hate to start off with another somber story, but let me say that there is an epidemic going on right now in America where people are not valuing their children, and obviously the new thing now is to knock off your child. Yes, I'm saying it. Knock off your child because you don't want to be a parent anymore, and it is obvious that something stinky is going on and ratchet with people who have children, because I will now bring you another story about a child found dead in a car here in the Knoxville, Tennessee area. And a case has already transpired in Oxford, Alabama. I brought you that video previously of a gentleman who left his child, two children, two twins, a boy and a girl, inside of a car. The daycare called the mother to ask if the children were coming to daycare. She in turn calls the father, and obviously he let the children sit there for hours. Okay, they were found almost at noon. The boy twin died. The girl twin survived. I shaked at the fact that they even have custody of the girl, and how he has not been brought up on charges is a mystery to me. The coroner deemed it an accident, no foul play. Police investigated, background check. That means nothing to me. You see where I'm going with this, okay? Come on now. Your wife called to ask you about the children in the early morning. So what was your answer? Okay. And the children were found at noon. So you got there probably 8:30 in the morning. So you deliberately let your children sit there, and Oxford, Alabama Police Department let you get a free pass to murder a child. Could have been two, but the grace of God, he spared the girl twin. Now, here we go. Knoxville, Tennessee. A child has been found, left inside of a car. Back in August 9th, 2019, a child was found in Knoxville, Tennessee at a Food City grocery store parking lot on Clinton Highway. The child was found dead in the back seat of a car. I'm going to read you the following information, so please bear with me. Shante Cabrera, 30 years of age, was arrested on 3 charges pertaining to the death of her 6-month-old baby boy. She's been charged with first-degree murder, felony murder, and aggravated child neglect. Okay? The temperatures were exceeding 90 degrees on that day. Inside of the car, the temperature registered at 100 degrees. She was arrested by the Smoky Mountain Fugitive Task Force on October 16th. She was arrested. Okay? So, on with that. The reason she's been charged with 2 murder charges is because the aggravated child abuse and neglect is an underlying charge, and it is consisting of leaving a child in a hot car to be injured. And then because the child died from their injuries, that gave it a first-degree murder charge. Okay, this charge, well, both murder charges, carries a life sentence with or without parole. The child has been deemed having respiratory problems. Now, I could get facetious and say, well, hell, if your mama left you in the car on numerous occasions when it's warm, you might have some respiratory problems. But I'm not going to do that, because that would just be so mean of me to say that. But anyway, that is what they're saying. The child did have some respiratory problems. I guess at this point, it doesn't really matter what he had. He's no longer living because his mama left him in a hot car. But anyway, the charges are unlikely to be dropped by the DA's office. A plea is possible. If it goes to the grand jury, they will sway toward a guilty verdict. Neighbors and witnesses have been contacted for comment, but they have declined, and no court date has been set. Okay, this is the version that the young lady, Miss Cabrera, is giving or gave in lieu of what happened on that day. She states that she went to drop her older child off to an elementary school that's on Pleasant Ridge Road. Most of you who are familiar with Northwest Knoxville, you know where that is. She dropped that child off to school. thinking she had already dropped off the baby on Merchants Road, which is north, just a few streets over. It's not that far away. She went on to work off of Kingston Pike, which is a little ways from Pleasant Ridge Road. And she assumed that she had already dropped off the baby. So, drop off child one, older child, to Pleasant Ridge Road Elementary School. Then she goes and proceeds to work. She gets off at 2:30. She gets into her vehicle, still not noticing a dead baby in her car. Drives all the way back to Northwest Knoxville to pick up child one. Then proceeds to to the Clinton Highway area to go to the grocery store. A witness says that she and that child came out of the store, but that is not the version she gave. Her version is that she and the child sat in the car. She was making a grocery list, and the child said, "What is that?" noticing a deceased child in the back seat of the car. They called 911. The witness also said she saw a woman pacing back and forth when she gave her version of what allegedly happened, also stating she saw the lady and this older child come out of the store. So there we have two conflicting versions, which is the truth. 911 comes, of course, there is a deceased child in the back seat of the car. Okay. The indictment came down on October 16th, which was last week. October 18th, she was arrested. She is out on bond, and her arraignment is November 11th of this year. Okay. Her lawyer is basically saying, Mr. Garza is basically saying, and I think he's probably a good lawyer because I've seen the commercials on TV. The state basically feels like they have a case against her, that they feel like this was an intentional homicide, that she left this child deliberately. That's why she has the 3 charges, 2 murder charges, of course. And it seems just very suspicious, that you did all this running around and never noticed a child in the backseat of your car. Now, so there are some statistics I want to give you pertaining to child deaths. This one organization called No Heat Stroke Organization.org, noheatstroke.org is saying 53% of children in the past 20 years have been forgotten inside of cars. 20% gained access to the car, and 18% were left knowingly in the car. How they came up with that statistic, I do not know, because I don't know how you can say if a person left them there by accident or not. You're basically judging them on what? Tears and crying and hollering. Yes, I'm being facetious today. You know I can get down like that. Okay. KPD said they will not be releasing any more details because the investigation is still ongoing, and they will release more information as they get the information. Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm giving everything here. Well, it's a matter of what you believe as far as this young lady, Miss Shantae Cabrera, leaving her child in the car. As I stated, I laid out the timeline of what happened, and I laid out the incidents of what happened, and I know you all can't sit and tell me that you think she didn't notice that child sitting in the back seat of the car because she had too many opportunities to see the child. You had one child to drop off at school A, and you had the baby in the car at that time. I'm assuming she's trying to say that she drops the infant off, the 6-month-old first, then the second child second. But that's not how it rolled, now did it? Maybe we were running late this morning and we forgot about the infant in the back seat. So we took the first child, the older one, to the elementary school. Then we proceeded to West Knoxville to the wellness skincare center that she works for. Oh, and by the way, she still has her job there. She has not been fired. And I was wondering why they mentioned that, but then I read on to see where, she was bonded out. Didn't say how much the bond was. Find that interesting. So she still has her job at this skin wellness center. So, still have a job, out on bond. But it's, to me, a bunch of bull because I'm sick of hearing these stories of babies left in cars, okay? This story here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Then there's a story down in Oxford, Alabama, where he gets a free walk. Boom, no charges brought. Then there's the father who also, I think, left twins up in New York. So it's like, well, what is going on here? This lady here, she can't even say she forgot that baby because you got in your car too many times to forget. Okay? You're riding with two kids in your car. You take the older child to school. Then you drove to your job. Then you got off that job at 2:30. That means you opened the door to get in your car at 2:30. You rode down the highway leaving West Knoxville going to North Knoxville. You parked the car at the school to pick up that child. Still, you or the child didn't notice the baby in the back seat. Then you proceeded a street or so over from Pleasant Ridge. You proceeded to a street over to Merchants. Then over to Clinton Highway. You had to go over, cross up to Clinton Highway to get to the grocery store at the Food City. I know this area because I've lived in this area before. And then you park your car in the parking space and say that you were making a grocery list. Still no one has noticed the dead baby that has baked in the back seat of the car. I'm not going to even ask if there was a smell in the car. I'm going to leave that alone. So then your baby, your older child says, "What is that?" Come on now. Now you got an eyewitness saying, "I saw her and that little girl, that other child come out the store." So now how you going to say you and the girl pulled up at the grocery store, you and your older child, you still ain't noticed that baby in the back seat, and you went in the grocery store and got groceries and then came out and then noticed the baby? Because you're saying you noticed the baby once you pulled up, start making a grocery list, and your child noticed the infant in the back seat. But an eyewitness says you and that older child went in the store and bought groceries. Come on now with the shenanigans. Yeah, big baby woke this morning now, baby. Sinuses and all. Man, y'all won't give a queen a rest on this channel with this buffoonery. Y'all just walking around. Just don't give a damn about your kids. Okay, admit you don't want to be a parent to either that one or this one or at all. I think I'm going to be truthful with you all. Just from me doing my cupcake updates, these heifers are deciphering and deciding which child they want to contend with. Because look at this one here. Older child is alive, but the infant you forgot about, same thing. Other case, we ain't got to call it. You got an older boy in that case, he alive, but your younger child, 3-year-old, she missing. See, I think what's going on, see, when they're younger, we already know about children when they're younger. They're more work, especially when they start walking. They get into things. They cry more, fall out, tantrums. You know the drill if you have children. And these people are becoming disgusted. And they're bowing out of their duties and responsibilities. And as I have said, if you come to that point where you feel like you can no longer maintain as a parent to this child, then why don't you hand the baton over to somebody else? Because murdering your child is not the answer. Now, as for the guy in Oxford, Alabama who gets the free walk, what comes around goes around, homeboy. But see, it's this case here in Knoxville, Tennessee, she didn't get a free walk. And I'm glad, because I know those investigators thought to themselves, you got in your car too many times not to notice that dead baby back in that back seat now. Ain't no way you climbed in that car that many times from dropping off one child, then going to your job, then coming back getting in the car after you get out from work. Then you went down across town to pick up the child again from school. You still ain't noticed the body. And then you cross over that street to go to the grocery store. You still ain't noticed the body. And then there's conflict with an eyewitness saying you carried your tail in the store. Come on now. It just goes on and on with you all and these babies and infants. What is the problem? Damn, I mean, really, what is it? I give up. I give up. I'm serious. I give up on commentating, and because it's like it's an illness. It's something in the air. It's every time you turn around. I mean, all the information I pop on my phone just in the past 2 days is always about a baby, always about an infant. I'll be bringing you another story of an Uber driver and a toddler. As soon as I gather the information on that. And this one's more cold than the cupcake story because they sold that baby. Or tried to anyway. Lord Jesus, I'm serious. I give up. Stay woke, America. For those of you who actually care about your children, kiss them, love them, tell them you love them, take good care of them, rear them, be mindful of them because they are your children. And I see now we're in a world where other people have got to step in and try to intervene with other people's children. And you know that usually doesn't work because you can't just step in somebody's business about their children. But it looks like that's what people are going to have to do because these ratchet folks out here with kids, they don't give a damn about their children. They don't care nothing about them. And I see now that's the new thing. Ride around with your baby in the car and leave them and then come back out and call 911 and say, oops, I forgot about my child. You know that's BS. I know it's BS and they know it. That's just they cop out because they don't want to be a parent anymore. Until the next video, America, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.